All right. In our final stretch of the show, we're going to be looking at gamification as the future of business engagement, right? We're still trying to get a grip to some degree with all these new technologically powered, innovative spaces of opportunity. Thabo Tsolo is joining us, CEO and game designer at Space Salad Studios. How are you doing this afternoon?
Good afternoon, Bridget and your listeners. I'm doing well, and you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm good. Okay, but before we get into gamification, right, and just how that relates to the business landscape, let's get some background maybe on Space Salad Studios. Firstly, I'm just intrigued by that name, Space Salad Studios.
Yeah, a lot of people are, but so we are a multi-award-winning gaming studio that specializes in gamification. And what separates us from our competitors is we make games based off social commentaries using humor as the glue that brings everything together and makes the content more digestible.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been making games since 2019.
Okay. Let's talk about gamification, right? We know that there's sort of just the nature of business today is very competitive. And those who make decisions within business spaces, they're always looking for more innovative ways of keeping customers engaged. Whilst at the same time, also one needs to remember employee productivity, for instance. How do you sort of enhance that? And also, how do you drive revenue, right? Three very critical components of a business. How does gaming speak to those three?
So I guess we all know that competition drives innovation, right? And what's better than competition is it being fun, and enjoyable. And how do you create an environment that's safe where people can compete for the same cause, have fun together while still learning, and just having the time of their lives. And that's what gamification does. Gamification, for those of you who don't know, is the application of game-like elements like point scoring, competition, and other rules of play in other activities such as marketing, education, finance. So you can basically apply gamification everywhere. And I mentioned that competition is what drives innovation. So if you as a company want to engage with more customers, you want to have more reach, you want to have a more effective way of getting your employees to complete their tasks in a fun way, where they also feel like they're having fun, they're not working. I think gamification is what is for you.
Are we seeing a lot more organizations and companies sort of probably open themselves up to incorporating gamification elements?
Definitely. I think mostly in the West, but we're seeing more and more companies in South Africa coming to the party, which is really interesting to see.
Yeah. And in what ways? So you talk about, as you sort of induct us into this, right? And you speak about gamification being some elements that one can leverage on. And sort of in what ways are you seeing, what trends are you seeing where South African companies are latching on to particular elements, and how are they helping or working towards boosting, whether we're talking employee productivity or whether even just driving revenue for said companies or for said sector?
So one of them is like tangible. I don't want to advertise the companies, but one of them is tangible incentive drives. Tangible incentives. So what would happen is a marketing campaign will have a high score system where players that reach or maybe they get 1,000 points will get 20% off of the brand that's being advertised in the game. Another one is having a product woven into the game, for example. So your brand is constantly visible within the game, and the player could play for hours and hours on end, because with gaming, I think it's the closest competitor to social media market. What social media and its statics post lacks, gaming has in a large quantity because of its amount of time that players spend playing games. you know.
Mm-hmm.
Another one is social amplification. So we've seen companies use this social amplification as a tool to drive more shares, more word of mouth spread of the game, basically making their product trend by creating incentives for players to share the product or the game with other players or their friends, so that they increase their chances of winning the prize, winning the competition, or the rewards attached to the game. So these are some of the things that have been used in business for the implication of gamification to increase revenue, to increase engagement, and to just have a kick-ass brand.
Yeah. So clearly I'm not much of the target market for gamification, or perhaps it manifests in different ways in different sectors and products as well, right? Because as you sort of describing this experience to me, I'm thinking, well, none of the brands that I engage with sort of engage in that perspective from that angle. But I read in what you've written that one of the best known examples, and they really don't need our advertising, one of the best known examples is one of the biggest medical and health providers in the country, and they've adopted elements of what would be classified as gaming to their business model. In fact, it's a very big part of their business model, if I'm not mistaken, sort of tracking healthier behaviors and encouraging healthier behaviors in exchange for particular rewards.
100%, Bridget. And the thing is with gamification, it's not an age thing or anything, because we all play games. And the nice thing about gamification, a lot of people think about it as like playing video games, but it's more of like the elements, so the reward system. Everyone wants a reward, you know, like if, for example, at home, you have an incentive, like whoever washes dishes tonight will pick their favorite movie, you know. That's an example of gamification in its like simplest sense. You can get everyone engaged. Even if I didn't want to wash dishes, but I know I want to watch the latest, I don't know, Spider-Man movie, I'll make sure that I wash all the dishes. And that's what this company that you speak of has done. Is it's gotten people healthier and more conscious about their health by providing them with rewards, you know, that they can benefit from taking care of themselves and training and eating healthy, those kinds of things. So it's not I don't know if it's safe to say it's a one-size-fits-all thing, but surely it's really close, because you can attach gamification to any industry just by incentivizing people to do better, to set targets for them, and there's rewards after that. That's why gamification is so successful.
I think probably, Thabo, and correct me if I'm wrong, probably the sort of missed opportunity in how we understand gamification, because when we're talking earlier and you were sharing with us, right, my mind was not connecting it, for instance, to these types of programs like the one run by this big healthcare provider. You know, my mind was not thinking about it like that, because I was thinking about it from the perspective of having to jump on my phone, be on an actual game, or have some kind of game elements, versus being on an app and having an app that is designed to track my lifestyle, that is responsive to my needs, and ultimately encourages me to have an engaged lived experience in order to be able to access particular perks and particular rewards. And maybe the missed opportunity there is how we understand gaming, those of us who are not in the space. So how we understand gamification if we're not in the space of it, right? In order to see more companies take it on board. How do we begin to help lame people like myself and others really, really understand what it can do and what it can evolve into, and how broadly it can be defined so that it fits the needs of particular organizations?
Well, you can definitely reach out to me and my team at SAfm. We are more than happy to educate people about the potentials and the prospects of gamification. And we always try to break it down to the simplest of its form, because we understand that in South Africa, it's still in its infancy stage. not just gamification, but the gaming industry as a whole. Because we started out as creating our own games, like independent games from scratch, and we realized we saw the gap in the market and the opportunity of how many people can benefit from gamification. So I think, long story short, if you want to know more about gamification, reach out to us at Space Salad Studios. You can find us at Space Salad Studios, Space Salad ZA on all social media platforms. And we'll be happy to even give you a free consultation if it's something that you're interested in trying out.
Is this something that can be executed at a minimal budget? Because not everybody is a sort of big JSE listed corporation that has infinite resources. Are you able to implement gamification with a very limited budget, limited resources, but still get maximum benefit for your business needs?
Yes, and that's something that we pride ourselves in. We, again, because it's a niche industry, still in its infancy stage, a lot of the service providers are international. What we're leveraging on is because we're a small team that is agile, and we can give you a lot more bang for your buck, right? Yeah, so we are, I don't think a cost is that extreme. You can reach out to us in our consultation, and we'll be able to share our costings with you. Yeah.
Talk to us a little bit as well about whether or not this replaces traditional marketing, or even not traditional marketing, but digital marketing, or does the success of amplifying gamification in your business also depend on how much marketing you put behind the awareness of that this actually exists for either your employees or your consumers?
I believe that this is an extension of digital marketing. I don't think one can live without the other, because just as much as the game might be super addictive and fun, you still need to promote it in some degree. So yeah, this is just an extension of the digital marketing space. Yes, this one has more advantages in terms of your engagement and how many people you can retain using your marketing tool, but I think the two cannot exist without each other.
All right. Very interesting indeed. Well, listen, we appreciate your time this afternoon and your insights as well. Who knows, perhaps one or two of our listeners have been pondering incorporating gamification elements into their business strategies and models moving forward. And hopefully they got a little bit more enlightenment from this particular conversation. I must admit, there's some themes and topics that speak to technological innovations and advancements that I can easily grasp, understand, and even see the visual in my head. And then there's some others that I think I'm just like most South Africans, where I'm left a little bit going, okay, how does that work for me? But this is why we continue to have these conversations. Thabo Tsolo, thank you so much. That was CEO and game designer at Space Salad Solutions.